Dijon here. And the TV and film portion of episode 133 of the Mustercast, we go over the live-action shows and movies we've been watching, discuss what a Baltimore-based sitcom could look like, discuss the weird casting decisions for the new Street Fighter live-action movie, and react to trailers for Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein and The Mandalorian and Grogu. Please enjoy. Alright, moving on to TV and film. What have you been watching lately, Christian?
That is a very good question. I feel like my watch list has been getting wider, but the amount of stuff that I sit down to watch is getting smaller. Um, so I see the timeline and just a lot of folks talking about one battle after another. So I do want to see that film. Say main thing that I've been watching is just television for the most part. Kind of started a community rewatch the other day. And it's been a minute since I watched it from the first season. And very interesting seeing how characters are and how they just completely pivot, or even some of the characters that they try to ship and stuff like that. It's like watching a different show. But I also think that's part of the charm.
Yeah, I love Community.
And
It's one of my favorite shows.
same, because like it just, I don't know, it's just one of those shows where even if it was like the most simplest form of what it was, it still would be great. Like even if it was just a simple school hijinks, a show, wacky characters, in its purest form, it's still a good show. But somehow they go above that. They're
I,
streets ahead.
I unironically use that term all the time.
me,
Um,
me too.
I was recently just thinking about like how we need a like Sunny. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia or like Abbott Elementary style sitcom that takes place in Baltimore and have it be on HBO to offset all of the kind of like propaganda that The Wire and We Own This City put out into the world about Baltimore.
Right.
We need that for this
David.
city, and I was thinking like I could ease like it's hard to like. There's like so much to this city, so much more than people think. It's a majority black city. I think in like rankings of majority black cities, it's number 8. The city's
Yeah.
over 60% black, and as you can imagine, the systemic racism just in America, plus that has caused the city to be what people perceive it to be. And
Right.
and to say that it's never been bad would be a lie because that's just not true. And that's the reason why shows like The Wire and We Own the City exist. But the reason the city is bad is because of racism, systemic racism specifically. And also, we've come a long way since then. The city is like it's always been like any other city. Every city has
Yeah.
crime. Like it's a major
Exactly.
city. We were part of the original 13 colonies. This is one of the big, not biggest physically, like it's a small city in a small state, but in the grand scheme of cities in the country, it's one of the bigger cities in terms of fame
Exactly.
and resources and just impact. And there's
Right.
just so much to the city that it's hard for me to fully imagine. How do you encapsulate all of that in a single sitcom? Like in my mind, it has to be like 3 different sitcoms. One that's more like people living their lives. One that's kind of like Community, but based around maybe
Mhm.
multiple colleges in the city. Because you could easily go the black route and be like, okay, let's have it focus on the black schools, have it be like Morgan, Bowie, things like that. Or you could have it
Right.
be about like multiple schools because we also have one of the best art colleges and what is I think the best medical school
No,
um
like
in the
within
country, in
one
the
of the
city.
best in the world.
Yeah, so it would be a shame to just focus on the black schools, and it would make more sense to have a school focused show that's about like maybe a group of people that go to a bunch of different colleges in the city that like rent a house together or something. Like
Right.
I was just
Yeah.
thinking about that
Like,
lately, and you talking about Community remind me of that.
I know, and I agree with everything that you said. Um, I feel as though, especially in the past few years, I mean, always, Baltimore has been like a easy thing to point at, or an easy city to point at in right-leaning
Especially
spaces
since it's so close to
because
the
of the fact,
capital.
exactly, like it's it's definitely like a lot of racism there, a lot of anti-blackness there, and it's just very interesting relationship because people will hate Baltimore just as much as they exploit it or exploit it. I mean, and that's the main pattern that you'll notice. Is like people will say Baltimore is insert thing, but the same people will own property here or own apartment buildings and complexes here. And I feel like a Baltimore show would be cool.
And
That's
people
more
from
comedic
across
or
the
captures
planet,
community.
people from across the planet move here to go to school because
Right.
a lot of people don't realize how big of a college city this is. It has one of the best medical schools and one of the best art schools in the country, and one
Right.
of the one of the best HBCUs.
Right.
This is a place
And
people
a
come
lot
to for education.
right. And a lot of people rush past that really is due to a lot of anti-blackness. Like in the way that I talk about Baltimore compared to other cities, like growing up here, I always say that Baltimore is the city of all time, and that the story of Baltimore is the story of America. In regards to like housing segregation, in regards to death of industry, in regards to like segregation, in regards to school systems, gentrification, redlining. Like to study the
The Black
history of
Lives Matter
Baltimore
movement,
is to study exactly
for better
like
or for worse, we've been
especially
like a big part of that because of horrible things that have happened to us in this city,
right
perpetrated by the police
like
and, white
historically
people.
like exactly like talking touching on everything of like Freddie Gray, going all the way back to like just like Eddie Conway and like just a lot of just history in regards to there's a deep black political history in Baltimore and there's just so much there that can be talked about.
One
But
of the
yeah,
oldest black businesses in the country, the Afro newspaper, founded here.
right. And like Baltimore really is the Baltimore is like a encapsulation of America to an extent. And I feel like the differences between like a Baltimore from a Chicago or a New York is the fact that like the only difference is the size. Because of the fact that Baltimore is smaller, the housing segregation is more apparent. Like all of the issues that you'll normally see in another city are just so concentrated because of the fact that everybody is next to each other. Like the gentrification is so apparent because you could be like in front of a band of row homes and then you walk 2 minutes down the street and then you'll see like this crazy just old
Yeah.
factories turned into lofts that are
It's
$2,000 a month.
insane whenever I see that. I'm always like,
Yeah,
this is crazy. This looks like a cartoon where they're showing like the bad side and the good side.
like for real. Exactly. It's exactly what it is, and it's
I
just Baltim
legitimately live in a part of the city where that's the case. I live, well, I'm not gonna say where I live.
Yeah, and I feel like I always wondered what it would be like if Baltimore had, like, in Atlanta, like, just a series that could or even like a South Side, like what South Side did with Chicago. I feel like that is needed. But also, I feel like in regards to just Black media in general and us charting the course of what it is, it even going back to, like, literature with, like, authors like Richard Wright and, Zora Neale Hurston being at odds the use of because of the use of AAVE in books and, like, should we use AAVE in books or not? What stuff should we talk about versus not talk about? It's kinda the same conversation that persists now because it's almost like in the arts, we have anything that we put out will be the paradigm, and that's just how it is. It's very definitive, weirdly. It's like if you put something out that becomes the meta for what black art is, which is very limiting. And I feel like if there is a black show that takes place in Baltimore, I don't know if I like you're saying, I wouldn't want it to be just one. I would want it to be multiple types of shows that center around different just folks, different groups of people. And yeah, like I feel like there's a place for something like a Power or a BMF and something like in Atlanta or something like a Abbott.
Yeah.
And I would like there to if we do get those type of shows, I would like it to be a spectrum. And that's like the main thing that I hope. Because even if you like change the like in regards to like the seat at the table concept, even if the people at the table aren't Tyler Perry and Lee Daniels and instead like Quinta Brunson, Donald Glover, and Issa Rae, even if you change the people at the table, it's still a table. So I'm interested in seeing what like a lot of media based around like cities will look like in the near future and just black folks in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you've been watching?
Um I kind of did a Megamind rewatch
I saw that.
and yeah, Megamind's great. Somebody on Letterboxd said in an alternate reality it wasn't Despicable Me that got multiple spin-offs and sequels, it was Megamind. And I agree. I feel like Megamind had a lot of heart and it was very subversive and interesting in regards to
I mean,
like
it's the Superman Lex Luthor story. Lex Luthor has the
yeah,
ability to change the world, but instead he is just using that power to enact his revenge against a man that he's jealous of because of his great abilities.
right. And then he finally wins and it follows just that existentialist journey of okay, I accomplished what I was born to do or meant to do. Now what do I do? And I
It's
feel like
funny
they capture that very interestingly. Yeah.
because yeah, Megamind captures what is kind of spoiler alert for the very end of All Star Superman, the greatest Superman comic ever written. I'm not going to get into specifics, but in a lot of
Okay.
ways, like the entirety of that movie encapsulates what is the very end of that story. Like the very last
Okay.
issue, I highly recommend reading All Star Superman, especially if you like Megamind. That story um,
Mm,
kind of leads into a very a similar story to that, where it's like, okay, you win now, Lex. Now what do you do?
mhm.
Yeah, All Star Superman's
Yeah.
great. It's considered the best for a reason. There's also an animated adaptation, so you might throw that on one of these days in that room. Watch All Star Superman.
I bet. Because I know a lot during press for the film. I knew to like I heard All Star Superman a lot, so I do want to watch it or read it or do both.
Yeah, I've not watched it. I
Yeah.
have read it though. It's probably gonna be no. I was gonna say it's gonna be the first Superman comic we read on the show. It's not. We're gonna read Birthright first because that's more of an origin story. And it's my personal favorite Superman comic, but we'll probably get around to All Star Superman eventually. But just to keep the
Okay.
podcast going, because me and you can gap all day. I, spooky season has started as of today. It is October 2nd, as we're recording this. And the last Sunday, I watched a couple horror movies. I watched Talk to Me, um,
Mm,
and it was good. Directed by the YouTube sensations Raka Raka. Um,
mhm.
for those of you who don't know anything about the movie, when a group of friends discover how to conjure spirits with an embalmed hand, they become hooked on the new thrill and high stakes party game until one of them goes too far and unleashes terrifying supernatural forces. It was very good. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm excited to see what these guys do next. I grew up watching their stuff on YouTube um, with Ronald McDonald and Master Chief. Um, at one point, they were set to direct the Street Fighter movie that's happening that I'm not excited for in the slightest. Every new casting, I'm like, what the hell are they doing? Except for one. There's one that I was like, okay, that's a good casting. Okay, let's talk about let's talk about the Street Fighter movie for a bit. Um,
I'm not initiated with
brother, look
this.
up the casting. So Some of them are like, that's kind of cool. And then, so the one that I was like, okay, that's good casting, but the rest of the casting sucked. There's one specific casting that makes me go, yeah, I'm not watching this because I hate this person. Um, Let me look up who's playing them real quick because I can't even remember the man's name anymore. I used to love his content, and then he just went. Andrew Schultz. I used to watch his comedy so much, and then,
Mhm.
and then you know what happened. he went real.
I do.
He went Trump. He went racist. It got real weird real fast. Um, and I just completely fell off of him. And he's playing Dan Hibiki, one of which I'm pretty sure Dan Hibiki's supposed to be like Japanese American, and Andrew Schultz is white as hell.
Mhm.
So
Okay,
that
I'm looking. What?
so
Noah
that's
Centineo is Ken.
and that's so Andrew Koji is the one good casting, and he's playing um Ryu, and I'm like, perfect. Andrew Koji's Ryu is great. Andrew Koji is a great action actor, and he's Japanese. Makes sense. And then you get somebody who is half his age to play his rival and best friend. What the fuck is going
Yeah.
on? Have these people ever actually read played a Street Fighter game? Like
Mm.
people even like Street Fighter isn't a big lore heavy game, but everybody knows Ken and Ryu are best friends and like train together. Like that's common
Right.
knowledge. Why is there this big age disparity between these two main characters? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
That's
that's weird.
that is one thing that makes me go, oh, this movie's gonna be bad. And then the Andrew Schultz playing a Japanese character and him being a horrible person, and I don't want to support anything he's a part of, is like,
Right.
what's happening here? What's going on? First, first off,
Um.
just make it animated. Don't get me wrong, I'd love a live action Street Fighter movie, but
Yeah.
just animate it. Just make an animated Street Fighter movie.
Yeah.
Just make an animated Street. The same thing with Tekken. They need to just make a Tekken movie that has the fidelity of the Tekken cutscenes. Just do that.
Yeah. Just do a Final
Not to say
Fantasy.
it's that simple, of course, but like that would work
Yeah.
better than trying to do it in live action because it's just you're never gonna get it right when you do it that way. Like it's not that it can't. It's just that they always make some weird decision that makes me go, why? It could have been great,
Yeah.
but then you randomly made a stupid decision. And there's just a bunch of they're getting a bunch of wrestlers to play characters. Um,
Mm.
who's they
I
getting to
saw
play?
Roman Reigns.
Yeah, he's supposedly gonna be Akuma.
Okay.
And who's I forget who Guile was gonna be. He's another
Cody
yeah, Cody
Rhodes,
Rhodes. Which
which is
I think this is him being
mm,
like, well, I can't be Johnny Cage.
right.
which is a shame, honestly. Like as much as I love what's his name? The dude that plays Butcher and the Boys. He's playing
Oh
Johnny
yeah, Keith
Cage.
Urban.
Keith Urban is playing Johnny Cage in a new movie. And I'm like, he's gonna do a great job. Keith Urban's great.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it would have been a slam dunk for them to get Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is Johnny Cage.
Right.
Especially since I feel like the reason I was like, okay, maybe they're not going to do Cody Rhodes because they want to do a younger Johnny Cage. And then they hired Keith Urban, who's older than Cody Rhodes.
Right.
So, like, if they're going to go for an older Johnny Cage, then get Cody Rhodes. He's only 40. He's not even that old, actually. He's actually the
I
perfect
know.
age
So
to
I
play
mean,
Cody Rhodes. I mean, Cody Rhodes is the
oh no,
perfect age to play Johnny Cage. I feel like 40-year-old Johnny
oh,
Cage is perfect.
yeah. But also, quick, fact check. I said Keith Urban, like the country singer. I
You're
meant
absolutely
Carl
right.
Urban.
I've said that so many times before. When talking about Carl Urban, I've said Keith Urban too. Those are two completely different people. Um,
Indeed.
but once again, moving on. I also watched 28
Yeah.
Days Later. Um, for the first time.
And what you think?
I liked it. Actually, have you seen Talk to Me before you fully move on?
I know this is my main issue as a writer where I just spoil things for myself all the time. But I haven't seen it. Like I haven't seen the film.
Okay.
But I do know things that happen.
Ah, that's unfortunate. The ending is so good. It's such a good ending. It's such a short movie. It's just an hour 30 something. It's like, okay, the perfect length. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, 28 Days Later. I enjoyed that as well. I watched that the same night. And despite hearing so much about it, I actually hadn't seen I thought I hadn't seen a clip, but at the very end of the movie, I'd seen literally the very end of the movie where there's
Mm-hmm.
the title card is great, where it's just the 28 days later the ellipses and
Right.
that's the title card is them going like and 28 days later after the beginning of the movie.
Right.
And then they do it again towards the end, and that scene that plays at the end after they do that again, I've seen that before, but other than that I hadn't seen anything other than one screenshot of um this is going to happen to me all the time. I've been saying this man's name every day for like a
Oh,
week.
Cillian Murphy.
And then the moment I need it, I forget it. But just that one picture of Cillian Murphy, just walking down the street, not even a video, just a screenshot of it.
Mm.
um, so it was all a surprise to me. I hadn't seen anything, had anything spoiled for me, and it was great. And I'm excited to watch 28 years later, soon.
Mm.
I was surprised how, for lack of a better word, cheap it looked. Like
Yeah.
it looks older than it actually is. It's from 2002, but it looks like it's from the 80s,
Hmm.
which is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And going into the behind the scenes, they it's I don't know if it's one of the first or not, but they shot it entirely in digital. Like they shot it on kind of like slightly professional camcorders. So yeah, they let me see if I can actually see what Danny Boyle said. But yeah, for the most part, they wanted kind of like a lo-fi, gritty, kind of gross looking type look to the film. But yeah, they shot it on like cheap cameras.
Yeah, like
Um,
I didn't I didn't know that like I knew Killian Murphy was in it, and that was the only person I knew was in it. I didn't know Naomi Harris was in this movie. I didn't know Brent,
mm,
and then like I immediately saw Naomi Harris and was like, oh, I know her. And then Brendan Gleeson showed up, and
right.
I was like, I know that guy. And then Christopher Eccleston showed up. I was like, oh my god, I didn't know all these people were
Yeah.
going to be in this movie.
Yeah, the cast is kind of crazy.
But yeah, it was definitely good. I'm excited to see the second one. Um, I also watched Wanted very randomly.
Mm,
Um, and
Halloween film.
it was Wanted is like the most early 2000s post Matrix as action movie I've ever seen in my
Yeah.
entire life. It is so ridiculous, but it is fun because of that. It is
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. It's
I
it's the most Rodriguez film I haven't seen, and it's not directed by him.
it's
Yeah, it
I also discovered that this is where that James McAvoy meme of him sweating and fanning himself came from.
yes.
I didn't know that that's where this came from, and it happened. And I was doing another meme. I was doing the pointing at the TV meme. I was like, ah, I know that's from. It's yeah. Wanted was
Yeah.
so wild of a movie. Common was in it. I wasn't expecting to see Common. I was like, oh, I
Yes.
didn't know Common was in movies in the early 2000s.
Yes, he
I didn't know
was.
he's been acting for that long. I thought back then he was just rapping.
No, he got some like very random roles and stuff just scattered throughout. Um, I thinking about it, I never knew who directed this film. Wait, isn't I'm his. I could try to say his name on stream, but
Oh,
it is
that's a name.
yeah,
Timur Bekmambetov?
yeah. I felt like that was good. I felt like that was good, but yeah,
Oh,
he seems to have done
he did War of the Worlds? Oh, no, no, no. He produced it. I was about to say the most
okay.
recent
I was like,
one.
wait a minute. Yeah.
No, he produced it.
Okay.
He did direct Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter
Okay. That's a
and
win.
and Ben Hur. Yeah, just that movie is
Very
strange.
hmm,
It's a fun watch, but Strange movie. There's a second
Yeah,
Wanted movie. Oh no,
there is.
no, there isn't.
Okay, I
Okay.
was gonna say Wanted again.
Um, but also I finished Alien Earth. The finale was last week. Um,
Mm,
and it was very interesting. I thought this was going to be a one season show, and it might because it hasn't been greenlit for a second season. But Noah Hawley says that he has plans for more. Because this season ends on a massive cliffhanger. Um, and it was insane. I'm thinking, okay, they're gonna wrap everything up. No. The episode ends, and at the end of every episode, they start playing some rock song, and a song started playing. I was like, no, no, this isn't the end of the episode. There are so many unanswered questions, and then it ends, and I go, oh, okay, I guess. I honestly wouldn't be upset if we didn't get another season, not because I disliked it, but because I'm not opposed to the story ending on such an open ending, as wild as it is. But I'd be lying if I said that I didn't want, to see where the story goes from here. And there's definitely, potential for so much more. As Noah Hawley said that he has plans for, but whether or not those plans can actually put the action, we'll have to wait and see.
okay,
I hope the show was doing well. It's a really good show. I hope people were watching it. You should check it out. It's good. Um,
okay.
and still watching Peacemaker. There's a new episode tonight. And it continues to be incredible. And I can't say too much more without spoiling it, but there was a very obvious twist that was coming that a lot of people noticed. I always know I can't say I noticed it from the beginning, but I always thought something weird was happening, and then I started to notice it and go, "Oh wait, that's strange." And then it was revealed in the last episode. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, Peacemaker season 2 has been great. Excited to see where
Okay.
it goes. Especially since the preview for the next episode hints at some important character showing up, and I'm like, who is this gonna be? But moving on to trailers and news, uh, there was a trailer for Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Um, Written and
Yeah.
directed by del Toro, Frankenstein will be on Netflix November 7th, starring Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, Mia Goth, Felix Chimera, with Charles Dance and Christopher Waltz, or Christoph Waltz. And yeah, I didn't know that Jacob Elordi was playing the monster.
Yeah.
I was also forgot. I always forget he's British. Always forget he's British. Because I'm watching the trailer and I go, oh, they got Jacob Elordi doing a British accent. And then like a interview with Oscar Isaac and Jacob Elordi showed up in the recommended videos, and I was like, oh, let me watch that. So I watched that just before we started recording, and then he started speaking. I was like, oh no, he is just British. I keep forgetting he's British. He puts on an American accent. He's not American.
I for me, like the first time I realized it was with Saltburn, because I was like, wow, this British accent is pretty good. This is a nice British accent. Then interview, and then my mind was blown. I was like, wow, this American actor can do a great British accent, and then mine was blown.
He's
So
even doing it in the interview. That's crazy. Really, real,
right, it's like, wow,
dedicated to his
he's
craft.
that's what I'm saying. He's like Christian Bale, watch out. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm excited for this. I can't say that I've seen a lot of Guillermo del Toro movies. But I've always liked his movies. I've not seen a lot of them. I've not seen Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
I
Mm,
watched the most recent one I watched was the Pinocchio he did on Netflix, and that was good. It was all stop motion. It was great. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Especially if you like stop motion, it's real good.
okay.
That's definitely a great show to just put up on the TVs in the lab.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pinocchio was really good. Hellboys, I've seen those. Both of those are really good. It's a shame we didn't get a third one. Those movies were so good. We deserve another Hellboy. Um, but yeah.
Yeah. And
Also, I didn't
Del Toro.
realize
Yeah.
he directed Shape of Water, but that makes all the sense in the world. Looking back on it,
Yes.
I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That's a Del Toro movie.
Yeah. he is the creature guy. Yeah, definitely checks out. Um, regards to Del Toro, the first film that I've seen by him, and I wonder if it's a common thing with others, was Pacific Rim. That
Yeah,
was
I've
the
seen that one
first
too.
one. Yeah, and
Main theme for
yeah, I
Pacific
just
Rim is so good. That music is so good.
yeah, it's great.
Also,
I need to watch Pacific Rim again.
I forget what his job was exactly, but the creative director for Doom 2016, Eternal Dark Ages, worked on Pacific Rim, and I think he might have designed the mechs. Like he might have been like
Mm,
an artist on it. I can't remember, but like he like worked on that. And it wasn't until Doom, the Dark Ages, that we actually finally got to pilot the mech that they introduced in Eternal. Um,
mm,
but yeah, it's interesting that he worked on that and then went to go make Doom.
right. That I didn't know. But then again, it adds up. Even like the design for the looking at it right now, the design for the mask on Pacific Rim is pretty Doom guy adjacent. Um, but yeah, Pacific Rim was the first one, and other than that, it was just Blade 2 in like passing.
Oh yeah, that's
But
another one I
yeah,
seen too. Blade Two. Blade Two is the best Blade.
I do want to delve into more of his stuff, especially because I think his monster design is very cool, and he just kind of does what he wants, and you never know if you're going to get something more big budget and like VFX based, or if you'll get a stop motion Pinocchio. Like
Yeah, I'm just realizing I'd seen more of
he
his
has a
movies than I thought because I forget that some
yeah
that he directed some movies that I've watched.
yeah like he has a his filmography is very cool, and I like that he's in this era of just kind of trying things,
You know,
whether it
he
be Pinocchio or Frankenstein.
yeah,
Like he's going back to the it's I don't want to say I don't know if it's niche or not, but yeah, he's just doing what he wants, and I think it's very cool.
you know, he offered his
But you were saying
likeness for Death Stranding.
right, and I think that there is a kinship between um Guillermo del Toro and Kojima. I feel like there's definitely like a kinship there.
Yeah,
Um, but with Frankenstein, I'm excited though. This cast is very cool. Um, yeah, I feel like the X trilogy of films was somebody was like, "Okay, Mia Goth, we get it. You're talented. You're great. You're a great actress. We get it."
I still have
Um,
not seen the other two. I saw X. I have not
mm,
watched Maxine or uh it's some old lady name. What's that movie called? It's not.
oh, Pearl.
I was about to say
Yeah,
Perline,
Pearl.
like Perline from
I was
Sinners.
about to say. I was about to say Pearline too. But yeah, it's very cool cast. So and it looks well shot. Only thing is, don't know how I feel about Netflix. Like, hopefully it does get some sort of a big
It's gonna
screen.
have a limited theatrical release on October 17th. And I was looking up
Okay,
places. Nowhere super close. Well,
okay,
within driving distance, but not like in the city.
right, of course. But yeah, this it is. It's always cool when filmmakers go back to the more like traditional literary canon. Like it's always fun when
Nosferatu.
directors do originals. Yeah, like Nosferatu with Eggers, like another good example of that.
I'm
So
so excited for that werewolf movie.
who's doing the werewolf film?
I guess.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
I yeah, I did not know about that. Or even I think Lee Winnell. He did
The Invisible Man.
yeah, The Invisible Man. Yeah. Like I think it's cool that filmmakers are going back to more of the traditional lexicon of horror stuff and doing it in different ways.
Yeah. I need a
So
new creature from the Black Lagoon. And if anybody should do it, it should probably be Del Toro.
that would be pretty cool. Hey, Jordan Peele's Bigfoot. I'll see it.
Jordan,
I'll watch it.
somebody's got to make a mummy. Yeah, next we have the Mandalorian Grogu got a proper trailer, and it looks to be completely focused on the Mandalorian and Grogu, which is all I want. Season 3 was ass for a great many reasons, but a big one was them trying to do the MCU thing and have it connect heavily to the wider universe. Mandalorian was at its best when its connection to the greater universe happened in one-off episodes, like the Jedi episode that introduced Ahsoka to live action,
Mhm.
or Luke's appearance at the very end of season 2. Trying to make Mandalorian a major part of the greater Star Wars timeline has bogged down its storytelling. It's become less character focused, and focused on the journey of Mando and Grogu, which was the draw, and more on just the overarching plot, which sucks. Um, the first 2 seasons are perfection. I feel like season 2 did the best job of bringing in those greater universe things without bogging the show down. And season 3 just leaned into that too much, and yeah, it just ruined the vibe. It also,
Mm.
what else ruined the vibe? Book of Boba Fett. I'm
Oh,
sure you've heard tale
oh,
of how
I've
bad that
heard.
show was if you haven't seen it yourself. Good God,
Yeah,
I've not been more disappointed in the show in my entire life than the Book of Boba Fett. And I think part of the failure of that show is because all the cool things you could have done with Boba Fett kind of already happened in The Mandalorian. But at the same
yeah,
time, you could see the avenue they could have went with him. Whereas Mandalorian is a noble Mandalorian. They could have had Boba Fett be the piece of shit Mandalorian who doesn't give a damn. Um, but instead they did this weird Mandalorian. I mean, yeah, I guess he is a Mandalorian, but Boba Fett trying to build the family thing and him having this weird code of honor that didn't make sense, and it was so strange. It was such
right.
a strange show. But the best episode of the show was just straight up an episode of The Mandalorian, but in the middle of this show, and it was so weird because not only was it a straight up episode of Mandalorian in the middle of Book of Boba Fett, it was a pivotal episode of The Mandalorian where
In the middle of a terrible show.
at the spoiler from Mandalorian, at the end of season 2, Mando gives up Grogu and sends him off with Luke to be trained as a Jedi. They undo that in the Book of Boba Fett, a show that I guarantee you most people watching Mandalorian did not watch. So imagine this: you're watching a show. It takes place in a greater universe, but you don't have to watch it. You don't have to watch Star Wars movies to watch Mandalorian. So you're watching it season by season. Season 3 comes along. All of a sudden, everything that happened at the end of season 2 is undone, and you don't know why because it happened in another show that you didn't watch because everybody said it sucked, and also you didn't care to begin with, and you definitely didn't
Yeah,
care after you heard about how bad it was. That's what happened. I can't believe they messed up so bad. They were on a roll. And then they just completely dropped the ball. Especially Giancarlo Esposito was playing the main villain. And he did a good job, but god damn it, did they drop the ball with his character as well. It was so unfortunate. I was so upset watching season 3. Like, I can't believe this. I like watching the finale, I was just like, I can't even be excited about anything that's happening because the build-up was ass. And I'm not even happy about the payoff. And this movie, I hope it's going back to the simple stuff that I liked about the first 2 seasons. Have you seen any of The Mandalorian?
I during the initial hype of season one, I watched some of it, and honestly, that's my like main grasp of the Mandalorian. But at
That
the time,
that first season is that
my
first
initial
those first 2 episodes are a core memory for me because
mm,
I was in college when it came out. It was 29. It was like late 2019,
same,
and I was watching it on my old ass laptop. um, on like Disney Plus was new at the time. So I'm watching it on this old ass laptop on Disney Plus, and it was like barely playing. But I watched the first 2 episodes like in the cafeteria during lunch.
mm, and I watched it in the dorm with a tiny like computer monitor sized TV on top of a refrigerator. And yeah, I don't know, just watching it felt teleported. It was felt like I was watching Star Wars over again with a fresh coat of paint. It wasn't attached to anything. It was just, even though like there is some lore implications, it was a fresh story with cool characters. And I just thought it was cool and that it was distinct. And I felt like it was what Star Wars needed, especially with the original trilogy being so, not the original trilogy, but with
Sequel
the
trilogy.
Disney trilogy being, yeah, like that, the new trilogy being so focused and based around the Skywalkers. I felt like The Mandalorian was just fresh from that first few episodes. Um yeah, that's like the only real exposure that I had to like much of any of the Disney Star Wars, like Disney Plus experiments. I wasn't I I didn't watch Book of Boba Fett. All of the critique was so potent everywhere. No, what it wasn't even just the Gamergate weirdos. It was like people that are like, yeah, this is just trash. This is just trash.
Yeah. Like
Every no,
best
everyone didn't like it.
best part of that show, the main theme song by Ludwig Göransson is so
Mm.
goddamn good. If you interact with anything from that show, just listen to the main theme for the Book of Boba Fett. It's so good. Just like the main theme for Mandalorian is so good because that was also by Ludwig, who composed the first couple seasons. Like, yeah, Ludwig is good at his job.
A- and compose community like a setup and payoff, circling back around. Yeah.
But yeah, you know, anytime something Star Wars comes out, I watch it. I like Star Wars. I want it to be good.
Mhm.
And I hope this movie's good. Let me look up
I
my
also
concept.
wasn't aware.
Go ahead.
I also I didn't know this movie existed until I looked in the Discord. I did not hear about this at all.
Yeah, this is set to release May 22nd next year, 2026.